Welcome back, team. In the last video we called this method when we hadn't even implemented it yet. So our job today is to implement it. Release is part of the IUnknown method, so also in this video we're going to implement everything. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so the job of this method is just to increment this count. So we're going to call interlocked increment, and then we're going to pass m object reference count. And that's all. Okay, and now let's do release. The purpose of this method is to decrement the count and also to do something else. So we have to create a return value and interlocked decrement and pass m object reference count. There we go. So what do we do with this return value? Well, we're going to check it. So if return value is less than 1, in other words, if the return value is 0, we are going to delete the instance. And we do that by calling delete this. This is going to call the destructor that is right there. Okay, and then once we've done that, we can return the return value. So why do we do all this? Well, when the number, remember that this is counting pointers to the instance. So when the number of pointers goes to 0, that means we don't need the instance anymore. So that is why we delete it, because we don't need it anymore. Okay. Now we can implement this one. This one's a little more complicated, and I'm going to do a horrible job of explaining it. But, oh well, the world will still turn. Okay, whoa, I don't like that. Okay, so as with any method with this, what we have to do is validate that argument. So if, or what Microsoft wants us to do is validate that argument. So if ppv object, then return e, and I think what they want us to do is to return that error. And then if it is valid, then we have to set it to null. There we go. Now we can get into the meat of this method. So what its job is it's going to take this argument, which is an IID, and it's going to compare it to the IIDs for these two interfaces. And if there's a match, then it's going to do something that I will explain later. But if there is no match, then it's going to return an error. So let's get that set up right now. If is equal IID or IID, and the IIDs for these interfaces can be gotten by with these variables IID IClassFactory. Okay. Hold on, let me make that bigger. Come on. Okay, apparently that's a limit. Okay, else if is equal IID, same thing, IID, oh wow, that's wrong. This should be IUnknown. It doesn't actually matter to the computer, but to me it does. Okay, IClassFactory. There we go. Put that there. And then if there is no match, return an error. This error, to be specific, E no interface. Now this stuff will never get reached, so let's get rid of it. Okay, what do we do if there is a match? It's very simple, actually. All we have to do is set this pointer to a different pointer ppv object, which pointer? It's going to be a pointer to the instance. And we get that just by calling this, and that's it. And now, since we have created another pointer to the instance, we have to increment this, and we're going to do that by calling this method. Okay, so this add reference. There we go, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Now we can just return SOK and be done with it. And also, we can copy this and paste it there. There is one thing we have to add though. For all interfaces that are not IUnknown, we have to cast this pointer here to the appropriate interface. So in this case, it's Explorer is asking for an IClassFactory interface, so we're going to return an IClassFactory casted pointer. There we go. And that's it. That's all that we need to do for this method. And your job at home or wherever is to understand this method really well, because I know that I definitely did not do a good enough job of explaining it. All right, so good luck. Okay, what I want to do in this video is verify that I've implemented everything correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this return value, and if it's successful, I'm going to print a success message. But first I've got to implement these two thingies here. Let's start with this one. I don't actually have to implement them fully, I just have to, get this code here. Okay, and now if you have a good memory, you will remember that I said that we weren't going to use this method at all, so we can just go ahead and return SOK there. Okay, now we can go back here and check the return value. So if everything went well, let's print a message box. There we go, and now let's build and run. Looks like it worked. Let's open a shell. Okay, message box please. Nice. Nice. Okay, congratulations guys. Now we can continue because there's still more stuff to do.